Good day and welcome back to another DBZ Dokkan Battle video. In this video we are going to take a look at we're going to take a look at how to beat the Extreme Strength versus Super Physical Super Battle Road stage. So again, this is a continuation of our kind of quest to complete as much content in the game as possible with only free-to-play teams. So we're going to continue our SBR journey. I think, in terms of like SBR difficulty, this is probably the easiest, not because the team is any good, but because the friend lead we use is an absolute monster when it comes to SBR and ESBR based content. So we'll start off with the team, and we're going to start off with exactly that premise. So the friend lead that we're using is the LR Super Saiyan Broly. Very simply put, an insane unit. He basically is going to have an additional super attack, which is pretty crazy. He's got additional ki when there's a pure Saiyans or a hybrid Saiyans enemy unit, which is often quite common in this stage. And his attacks are effective against all types and guaranteed to hit when there's a Goku's family category enemy, which means he's pretty nuts. If he doesn't crit, he's going to be an effective against all types AoE attack. He's crazy. He's 120% strength lead. He's just very good. And basically he solo runs the stage. We don't have to do too much, honestly, but he solo runs the stage, so it helps out a lot. Then in terms of the other units, so our lead is the Prime Battle Frieza, an exceptional unit who's a 90% all types extreme lead, which is going to help us out. He is better in the first slot, and you do usually want him to attack before he defends, but he's pretty solid overall, can do some big damage, and he's good in the stage because he does have +3 ki against superclass enemies, which he's going to have pretty much the whole time this stage, which is really, really good. Obviously you need to get him and get his easy A, but he is probably the hardest part of building this free-to-play team, but overall he's pretty good and not necessary, but he is really solid. Then we have Jace, or the Easy Aid Jace. Jace is very, very good, raises defense on the super attack. He can foresee enemies' attacks, which is the big thing with taking him. Plus he also buffs other extreme class allies on his super attack, which is pretty helpful overall, and relatively quite strong. It's pretty powerful, it's pretty good. Alongside that we have the Android 13, the ruthless Android 13. He reduces damage received by 40% when ki is 8 or more. He also gains an additional attack and defense of 130% when facing an enemy whose name includes Goku, Vegeta, or Trunks Teen, or Piccolo. So he's got a pretty decent range, and also he's going to be pretty solid on this team because he's going to be floating. We're not going to get the full benefit of his passive because we don't have a 14 and a 15 on the team, but for the most part he's just going to be very solid. He's just going to do a lot of good work. He's going to be very strong, and overall we're just going to have a very decent time while using him. Then the other units that we have is Android 18. So we've got two versions of Android 18. We've got Android 18 Future and Android 18. Both I wouldn't say are necessarily units that we want to outright use. So this Android, well actually I lie. The first Android 18 is pretty good. She's got attack and defense of 18% per Android's category ally on the team. Obviously we don't have a lot of Android's category allies on the team, so that is something. But she does gain 18% with each attack performed, which is great, and also gives all allies ki +2 and attack and defense of 18%. Gives all Android's category units ki +1 and attack and defense of 18%. Plus has a medium chance of launching an additional super attack when there's another Android's ally attacking in the same turn. Now that's not going to happen too commonly, but overall she's going to be a nice support to help us out, and is also going to lower the attack and defense of the opposition that we're facing. So for the most part she's going to be pretty solid and pretty strong. A pretty nice unit to utilize. I think she's going to be pretty decent. Alongside her, obviously we have the Android 18 Future, pretty decent unit. Obviously not nearly as strong without the tech Android 17. But she's still pretty decent, and she's going to do a decent amount of workload, nothing spectacular, but she's just decent stats. Attack and defense is 70%. She raises her attack and defense when there's firing a super attack, plus she launches an additional super attack when there is a hybrid Saiyans category enemy. So for the most part she at least is defensively sound. Like she's okay defensively. She's not necessarily going to be the wildest unit, but she'll be pretty strong. She'll be pretty strong overall, and I think she'll be a pretty solid option. Now, of course, there is the final piece of our team, which is another free-to-play, a much easier one to get. This is the Zamasu Goku unit, and he's really decent. He's going to be linking with Broly, not for any specific reason. They link okay, but he's a pretty nice foil to Broly. He lowers attack and defense on his 12 key, but he also gains 20% attack and defense with each final blow delivered. A nice unit that, as you can see, I've been using to just kind of finish off enemies and give us a decent amount of kind of damage. He's okay damage. His stats are mainly the most important thing to provide to us here, plus his ability to give Broly at least 2 links, I think Fear and Faith and Legendary Powers. So yeah, for the most part, that's kind of it in terms of why we bring him. So yeah, that's basically the team. Everything runs really smoothly. As you can see, we're setting a great time. We don't have to use too many items, but I would definitely suggest using items, as they will help you, feel a bit safer. Just a little bit better overall in terms of how to take on the stage, what to do with the stage, etc. So yeah, pretty good stuff overall. Honestly, really solid in terms of the teams and everything, just how to beat it. The hardest unit to get is definitely the Easy A for the Prime Metal Frieza. Definitely the hardest unit by far. The rest of them are all fairly straightforward. Just make sure when you're choosing your team that you choose a Easy A Broly. You'll be able to tell, because the friend Broly will have 25 as his max SA level, rather than it being 20. So just make sure that you do that, and you should be more than fine. You won't have any real issues overall. You should be a-okay to kind of take things on, and you shouldn't really have any major issues. It will help you out, but yeah, it's not needed, but it does definitely help out quite a bit. But with that being said, it's pretty straightforward. The stage itself, nice setup, everything working really nicely. The team also working really nicely. Synergy was decent. Defensively a little bit weak, but it made up with it by having decent utility, being able to lower attacks and defenses, and just overall doing quite a bit. Doing quite a lot, bringing quite a lot to the table. It was really good overall, and I really enjoyed using it. Yeah, so for that, I think everything went fine. I was more than happy with everything, and yeah, I was pretty much just happy to basically run with this team. And yeah, I think if you run this team, you won't have any issues. Like I said, just make sure that you choose the Easy Aid Broly. That's probably the only major thing to do, because otherwise you might run into some issues, I think, overall, which is a slight issue. But yeah, that's pretty much it from that point of view. So yeah, otherwise everything else worked perfectly fine, and it was all really good. So that's pretty much going to be it from me, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. With this video kind of rounds out the last the last 10 of the original SBR stages, which is great, and then we're going to move on to the categories next. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. I hope you guys have been enjoying these series, and I'll see you guys in the next one. So until then, take care, stay safe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.